Hey guys, welcome back to Chris. Let me give another NFL video coming at you. We got the top 5 NFL teams not to sleep on. Sorry, it slipped my brain there for a second. So we've got the top 5 teams. Number 1 team is of course a team that I feel is being slept on the most and is being slept on like way too much. Basically, number 5 team is being slept on too much, but maybe not as much as number 4 through 2 or 1. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So the number 5 team that I think is you shouldn't sleep on is the Cleveland Browns. Now I know what you're gonna say. Look, we all saw this last year. We all got hyped up on them, and then they fell apart. Well, so part of the problem was that you had this group of talented people who just completely underperformed. I mean, you had Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. I mean, you had what's it called, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, all on one team. And they just completely underperformed. They were put on so much pressure, and they just completely underperformed. I mean, the expectation was way up here, and I think that's what played a big factor in it. So not only was the pressure really tight on them on a brand new, just now put together team with a quarterback coming off of his rookie season, there was just a lot of pressure on a brand new team with, not to mind you, one of the worst coaches last year of Freddie Kitchens, who had just terrible play callings, but now they got rid of him. They got a new coach who hopefully will have better play calling, and now they have almost no expectations. People are thinking, oh, Baker Mayfield is so bad. And you know what they're thinking? They got a chip on their shoulder. They're like, all right. And they're going to walk in there, and in my opinion, I think that they are going to play up to not as quite as high as expectations that they had a couple years ago whenever people were saying, oh, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but I do think that they will probably have a good chance of making the playoffs. I mean, you got the addition of Austin Hooper, and again, you have these good players, these great players. They took a year to get used to it, but I think after a year of the whole NFL season, and then you have the whole off season, and then you have everyone talking about how bad they're going to be. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. They are really good players, and I think they're going to show up. And not to mention, looking at defense, they've got Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams making that secondary pretty freaking good. So I would watch out for the Browns this year. I mean, they could surprise a lot of people, and I don't think you should sleep on it. The number 4 team, I'm sorry, I'm flipping through my notes. The number 4 team that you should not sleep on is, of course, the Los Angeles Chargers. I've seen a lot of people saying that they don't think they're going to be very good. They think Herbert might take a bit to get into things. I think Herbert is a very, very good quarterback. I think he might come in here and be one of the best quarterbacks right off the bat. There's a reason he was picked 6th. He is a very, very good quarterback. And then, not to mention, at the very beginning of the season, they got Tyrod Taylor, who looked great when he was with the Bills. Looked pretty good when he was with the Vikings. In my opinion, I think he's been wronged a bit by being stuck in this backup role against the Chargers. I think he is still good enough to where he can start a team. He took the Bills to the playoffs. Keep in mind, this was the Bills team that had not been to the playoffs in like 20 years. He took them right to the playoffs, and then look at this also. They've got Austin Eckler on there who can hand the ball off to him. He's got Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. Keenan Allen, of course, the wide receiver, Hunter Henry, the tight end. He's got great weapons to throw to. He's got Austin Eckler, who he can fall back on. And on that defense, he's got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Denzel Perriman on that front 7. They are a very good team, and I think that they can surpass expectations. They got rid of Phillip Rivers, and then they replaced him with Tyrod Taylor for the first bit, and then they got a rookie quarterback. They're going in the right direction, and I think that they are still going to be fairly good. All right, and now let me just check. The next team we've got to talk about is also from Los Angeles. We've got the Rams. When I did my Rams predictions, a lot of people told me they thought they were going to go somewhere between 2-14 and like 5-11, which let me tell you is probably not going to happen. When you look at this team, you've got Jared Goff, who you saw him a few years back. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl. Insane Super Bowl hangover. He's been getting better. They seem like a pretty good team. I think he could bounce back this year. I think this could be the year where he gets over his hangover. He has been steadily getting better, in my opinion, and I think this could be a bounce back year for him, where he gets back into things. Definitely probably isn't as good as he was 2 years ago, but is still a very good quarterback. And then he's got the rookie Cam Akers, and they got rid of Todd Gurley, gave him to the Falcons, and then you've got Cam Akers, who they drafted, and always you got a rookie running back. He could be a bust, but I don't think so. I think he looks very good. He plays very good. And then you have Daryl Henderson, who whenever he had playtime a few years, he looked great. I mean, he was running the ball, pounding the ball, looked like a what's it called? Like a number one. He looked like a very, very good running back. So when he actually gets playtime, he looks great. And then so that you've got that whole running back group is amazing. And then you've also got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Josh Reynolds are their 3 wide receivers. That is just stacked right there. Not to mention you have Tyler Higbee in the tight end group. This is going to be amazing. I mean, he has all kinds of weapons. He has Cam Akers, Daryl Henderson to hand the ball off to. I mean, this offense is stacked. And then you look at their defense, and of course, you can't talk about their defense without talking about Aaron Donald, he was voted the #1 player in the NFL by NFL players last year. I mean, he is an amazing defensive end. He's only like 25 or something. And then, look at their secondary. They got Jalen Ramsey, who they stole from the Jaguars. He's still a very good safety. I mean, they have a pretty stacked defense, and they have one of the best offenses, in my opinion. All right, #2 team, who I think that you should not sleep on. This is a team that I might be a little biased on because I live in North Carolina. We've got the Panthers. I do not think you should sleep on them. Of course, I do not think that they're going to be 2015 Panthers, but I think they could be better than they were last year. I think you look at Teddy Bridgewater. He won all 5 of the games that he started last year. Yes, he was technically put in halfway point against the Rams last year, but that game was already lost. That was when Drew Brees got hurt. He was through in the middle of the game, and they lost really badly. And then he comes in the next 5 games. He beats Seattle, who's great. He beats the Cowboys, who are pretty good. He beats the Buccaneers, who are great. And then he kind of gets 2 easy games. He beats the Jaguars and the Bears. So he beat 3 really good teams, and he looked great when he was doing it. He seems to be a very, very good quarterback, and I think he gets put in the starting position with the Panthers, who I admit have less weapons, which is why they're not #1. I mean, obviously they don't have a Michael Thomas, but he does have Christian McCaffrey to hand off to. In my opinion, that's an upgrade from Alvin Kamara. And then you look at their defense, you've got Derek Brown and Kawan Short on there, and then you've got Trey Boston and Eli Apple on that secondary. They have a pretty good defense, which is loaded with rookies right now, so it might take them a bit to get started since they lost a lot of defensive players. But I do still think they have the formations of a very good team. So I would look out for the Panthers this year. They can still win lots of games. Alright, and now this is actually going to be a pretty surprising one in my opinion. This is a team that I think is top 10, but most people think is bottom 20. We have the Indianapolis Colts. Why do y'all disrespect them? They are one of the best teams in the league right now, in my opinion. You've got Phillip Rivers, who I know he didn't play great in Los Angeles, but look. Now he's got this new rookie wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr., not to mention T.Y. Hilton and Paris Campbell. He's got way more weapons on this one. And he's got tons of weapons. He's got a great overall team. Phillip Rivers will probably be much better with the Colts. I think he could be close to what's it called? Andrew Luck was a few years back before he retired. So, they lost Eric Ebron, of course, but I do still think that they could be great. Phillip Rivers could play great with all these new weapons. Now let's look at their defense. You've got Justin Houston, DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard on that front 7, and that's just their front 7. That is an amazing front 7. Rock Ya-Sin, Malik Hooker on that secondary. You have all kinds of talent. And again, he has an amazing defense to fall back on. He has great weapons to throw to. And you saw what they did with the backup quarterback last year. Now imagine they put in Phillip Rivers. This is just going to be... They're going to be an amazing team this year, and nobody seems to realize it. I think that they are in contention for winning the AFC South. People are completely just wrong that they are an amazing team, okay? Woo! Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you. I've already forgot your name. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the idea. I'm also, my next video, he knows what it is, but my next video is actually going to be another one of the guys you saw at the beginning, that guy's suggestions. So look out for that. Again, like I said, you give me a suggestion, I use it. that is the first suggestion I have ever gotten for a video since I started making NFL content, and guess what? I used it. Alright, so, again, you can let me know, what do you think teams I should not sleep? What teams am I sleeping on that I should not be? Educate me. Of course, I've got my Twitter, Instagram, and my Patreon. I'm trying to start a podcast. I can talk about football like every week. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. All the links in the description, and I will see you guys in the next